Hello, friends. You are in the right place for the next chapter of my book. But before I read, just a quick musical minute just for fun. I figured out a new chord the other day. I still have trouble fingering it, as you can see. And then it's a 13 chord, for those of you who are keeping score. Then we can modify it one more way, a 13 flat 9. I want you to hear these two notes. That's horrible. Those two notes are exactly one octave and half a note apart, which means our ear does not like them. It's very uncomfortable, except when you put it in context with all the other notes. Let me go back to the first chord I played, 13. It has a 9 yet, 9, 13. Then the 9, flat 9, 13. That hurts unless I go like this. That's what music does. Music takes human beings through time, and it puts them in a tense, tension, uncomfortable moment, but then when it releases, relieves, and resolves, that makes us feel good. All right, on to the story. The book is called Glory. When God shows up, things go pop and sizzle. This is chapter 3, scene 1, David's tent. Quoting Exodus 33:20, "No man may see my glory and live." Let's take a trip together. Let's visit David's tent. We tiptoe through a stone city at dusk. The sound of music far away, the murmur of voices close at hand. A family bustles past, corralling 3 small children who crane their necks to stare at us until they round the next bend. We follow their course, turning right between tall columns and scampering up 6 stone steps. The path snakes its way between ancient dwellings, taking the uphill option at every intersection. 2 teenage boys dash past, calling to each other and rubbing sticks along the dusty walls. Passing the last makeshift hovel, we find ourselves at the bottom of a wide hillside. A trail zigzags upward between scattered boulders and prickly shrubs. Our feet feel like lead long before we step up onto a level pavement and turn to gaze on the twilight city below. After our breathing slows, we turn and survey the last leg of our journey, stone stairs carved into the face of a 60-foot cliff. We get in line and trudge upward, relieved when the stairs finally turn away from the dizzying drop-off and up onto a wide plaza. A marble balustrade runs along the cliff's edge, columnar junipers piercing the sky at regular intervals. 50 paces away, silhouetted figures are making their way toward a cloud of light. Staring after them, we discern the top of a huge, circus-like tent. Guards in glossy leather with silver buckles and blue capes stand at regular intervals around the entrance. They study us as we approach. We wonder what to say. Do we even speak their language? A signal must have flashed between them, though we saw no hint of it. In perfect unison, they tilt their spears and invite us to pass, though they study our every step until we duck through an arched doorway. The blue and white striped tent looms over our heads, glowing with the light of 1,000 torches. We're standing behind the back row of an amphitheater, a huge bowl of bleachers cascading down to a rectangular stage 100 feet below. The throng in the tent is as frenetic as a beehive. We have no hope of getting good seats, but a row of kind citizens halfway down squeeze together and make room. A man waves a yellow card, directing our attention to the cleared space. We happily sit down until we notice that all the people around us are standing up. We jump up to join them. 30 feet above the stage, long white curtains hang from a horizontal framework about the size of a king-size bed. The bottom 10 rows are crammed with musicians, dressed all in black and white, with lots of bling. A choir in pale blue robes stands at one end of the platform. Instrumentalists fill the other three sides. 3 or 4 conductors zip back and forth, gesticulating and shouting last-minute instructions to their respective ensembles. There are scores of percussionists, each surrounded by a forest of bells, woodblocks, tom-toms, bongos, slapsticks, xylophones, and scores of devices we don't have words for. One of the drums is the size of an elephant. The trumpet players, I guess that's what you'd call them, though some of the silver trumpets are the size of tubas, are interspersed among all the others. Looking more carefully, I discovered there's a brass, flute, string, and percussion section on each side of the platform. This is not one orchestra, but 3, plus a choir with its own conductor on the 4th side. The orchestras begin playing, not in unison, but antiphonally, the music bouncing between them like balls in a tennis match. Between the bottom row of musicians and the raised platform is a wooden floor about 15 feet wide. I'm just beginning to wonder what it is for when a movement catches the corner of my eye. I lift my head and am surprised to see a woman in a golden gown dancing down one of the corner aisles. No, not one woman, 2. No, 3, then a dozen or more, all wearing shades of silver and gold and waving flags of the same. I turn my attention back to the center of the stage and discover a waterfall of gold and silver flag girls flowing down each corner of the pavilion. The music accelerates to match the energy of their twirling, jumping, and spinning. The whole stadium is on their feet, clapping and stomping with the beat. Then somebody hits that elephant drum. Not just one man, but 3, with mallets the size of sledgehammers. Our innards shake and tears spring to our eyes. Then the silver trumpets come in, high, medium, and low, each playing the right note at the right second, like the bells in a handbell choir. And speaking of bells, the percussionists pull those out and shiver the air with their crystal tones. Trumpets, bells, drums, harps, and flutes play like a gigantic symphony orchestra, first one tonal color, then another, ebbing and flowing, rising and falling, changing keys and returning to home base. At just the right moment, the choir comes in, well over 100 voices, well-trained, talented, and perfectly rehearsed. The sound sweeps over us like waves of an ocean. My knees go weak. I sink to my seat, closing my eyes against seeping tears. I sway back and forth and feel drunk. I glance around. Others are in a state similar to mine, some sitting, some standing, some singing along, many with tears glistening on their cheeks. The music, which had been thunderous, now decrescendos to a mezzo forte and softer still to a mezzo piano. Lush chords come in rubato waves, various instruments taking the solo. Intonation, phrasing, and articulation, the epitome of perfection. The crowd becomes still, many eyes closed, many others peering deeply at the white drapery hanging above the stage. While we watch, the curtains are pulled back inch by inch to reveal a golden box. The Ark of the Covenant. Who hasn't heard of that? I do some mental math. It's over 500 years old. It's a little smaller than I imagined, and rather plain, but I'm amazed how bright it is. The light around it appears almost blue in this torchlit environment. The gold sparks like a welder's arc at every crevice and corner. On top of the box are the 2 cherubim with their wings touching and their faces downward. The people around us are gazing at the space beneath the angel's wings. I lean forward to get a better look myself. Looks the same to me, I mumble with a shrug. No sooner did the words pass my lips when a flurry of gasping and finger-pointing sweeps through the crowd. I stare as hard as I can. Is it just my imagination, or did the bluish glow just get brighter? There it is again! And then not. Yes, no doubt this time. A diamond-like sparkle floats in the empty space beneath the wings. A hush falls on the crowd. 2 Hebrew words I hear whispered, Shekinah and Kavod. The dancers are still now, half of them standing with their backs to the golden box, and their silver gold banners held high on thin poles. The other half, every other dancer, kneels, facing the box, but their banner fills the space between the 2 standing dancers. The effect is almost irritating. Right when most of us are trying so hard to see the intermittent flashes of Shekinah Kavod, the dancers and their flags are blocking our view. The realization hits me like a thunderbolt. These dancers aren't blocking our view. They're saving our lives. No man may see me and live, the old scripture pops into my head. Yet, here we are, gazing with wide eyes on the glory of the Lord, protected only by walls of music, dancing, adoration, and flags. We know from Hebrew history that this gazing went on day and night, 7 days a week, for 33 years. This was the miracle of David's tent. The musicians play on, soft and subtle, an intricate drone of interlocking harmonies. The choir sings, with or without a conductor, their eyes closed, each singing their own part in perfect flow with the orchestras. After several minutes of this relative stillness, eyes open, eyes closed, hands up, hands down, swaying gently, singing along, a murmur stirs through the crowd. I look up. A man is stepping down between choir members onto the wooden platform. He is not very tall, but carries himself with confidence. The whole congregation lowers their heads, not quite bowing in his direction. The man bows back to the people. He wears a thin band of gold around his head. King David himself. A boy darts forward to hand him a harp. David plucks a few strings, tunes them, then strums the instrument in earnest. Musicians in the orchestra pick up the pitch and join in. David plays an intricate picking pattern in a syncopated rhythm. The percussionists jump in. David turns on his heel and nods to the choir. He gestures and utters some instructions we can't hear. He must have said something amusing because a wave of grins and chuckles passed through the choir. When he turns back toward us, he is smiling. He takes a breath and begins singing. My eyes pop open and I literally sway backwards. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this. His voice is mesmerizing. I can't decide if his timbre is more like one of our heavy metal rockers or an opera singer. He has a heavy-duty instrument and he isn't afraid to use it. He sings and plays a verse or two with minimal accompaniment, then the choir joins in along with the orchestra. The silver gold ladies start dancing again, joined now by men dressed in tight leggings and white tunics with brightly colored sashes. The men dance and leap like Baryshnikov. The music is thunderous and upbeat, David's voice soaring above it all. The cool white glow around the ark is more intense than ever, the entire tent illuminated by its brightness. We in the bleachers clap, sing, dance as much as we can in tight quarters. There is not an unhappy expression in the place. As the music calms down, the white curtains are lowered to hide the Ark of the Covenant from view. My eye catches a glimpse of the men manipulating the ropes. They are dressed in ornate, bejeweled uniforms. It dawns on me that these men are the doorkeepers in the house of the Lord we read about in the book of Psalms. It was their job to know when the curtains should be opened and when they should close. They held people's lives in their hands. The music and dancing make a perfect landing. The canopy structure is lowered to reveal the place where the ark had been. Nothing is there now but empty space. The people explode into applause. David bows, smiling, and the instrumentalists begin packing up. What a night it had been. Oh, I'm mistaken. The musicians are not all packing up. Some are merely shifting, forming smaller groups that continue to play. The music never stops. We are about to turn around and walk up the long steps when we see David making a beeline toward us. He bypasses the stairs and hops from the back of one row of bleachers to the next. He reaches us, holding out his hand. "Thank you for visiting us tonight," he says, breathing heavily. We shake his hand. "You are welcome. Thank you for letting us come." Do other people come and visit? I ask. Yes, periodically. We have learned to keep an eye out for travelers. We're honored to be here, I stammer, staggered by the revelation of his words. It is because of this, David says, turning and waving at the amphitheater behind him. It is because of him. He waves a hand over his head. The world will never forget these frequencies. I want to say more, but I'm so starstruck I'm beginning to shake. So I have heard, David responds in somber tones. I muster my courage. I do have one question. What made you think you could do this? David tilts his head and studies me through squinting eyes. What made us think we could do this? And not be incinerated? I nod, then answer the question for him. Was it your grandmother, Ruth? David's eyebrows shoot up, his mouth opens, and is speechless for a moment. How did you know? Come, we must talk. He grabs my sleeve and starts pulling us up the steps.